So I'm checking out the comment section for my latest upload, which I got to salute everybody that pulled up. TJ101 put, do a video on what's going on. We want to know how they're getting these sneakers early, which the only thing I can say to that, say less, bro. This is a topic which I've touched on previously, right? It seems to be something that a lot of people are passionate about. And since we did recently have the release of these Cavestone 4s, a sneaker which it felt like resellers literally had these in hands like months ahead of the release, I think it's a good time to kind of like revisit this whole topic, which, as I mentioned, many of you guys are actually passionate, about this here in our small sneaker community. Last time I spoke on this, many people reached out to me, including this dude who put, basically this all started when I almost got finessed by Blank for the 25 Galaxy foams, which I actually had to blank out the name because, with all the ratting happening right now with Young Thug and Gunna, we had to just be chill today on this wonderful calm Sunday. He was trying to tax me $785 for an early pair of Galaxy foam posits. I held out and they dropped not far from retail every size. After seeing that, I started researching to find out where these early pairs come from, how to source them, and if they're even real. There's 3 ways which I've discovered so far. One of those, literal backdoor deals from retail stores, usually smaller scale resellers, right? Now, when you talk about backdooring, of course, that's something that we know has been going on for years now when it comes to the sneaker game. But when you talk about backdooring generally, this is gonna happen when, like, say, resellers are getting these shoes, which they're paying wholesale prices for, and because they have these sneakers ahead of the release date, they're actually usually charging a premium, whether they're selling them in bulk or individually. This is usually when they're gonna actually sell them over retail to try to, maximize profits ahead of the release. So that's usually how it goes when you talk about backdoor deals. When you talk about theft in the distribution chain by Nike employees, that's also a very interesting one, which we're gonna touch on here, give you guys a few examples of that as well. And then number 3, theft in the source factory where production takes place. Now, as far as all of these examples, he actually gave me literal YouTuber names, but I had to block those joints out. Literally, he put, it all boils down to shady business and thievery. No early pair can be obtained legitimately unless it's given directly by Nike. Now, as far as theft in the source factory where the production takes place, like literally where the sneakers are actually produced, I've touched on previously how some of the feds, have been investigating some of these people, some of these pages, which for example would be something like this right here, where you see early looks, early sneakers. A lot of these shoes are actually stolen right off of the factory production line, to which this is where you're gonna see the earliest early pairs. Sometimes these are even samples. So just for example, right here, this page, as y'all see, sometimes it's gonna be no box, sometimes they're gonna have the full box and everything right here. And like I mentioned, this is usually where you're gonna see like the earliest of these pairs hit the market, right? But then of course, as mentioned right here, you also have theft in the distribution chain by Nike employees, which right here, this is just from a couple of weeks ago, right? In Memphis, where one of Nike's main hubs are. It says thieves ran off with $25,000 worth of Nike shoes after breaking into shipping containers on Sunday afternoon. Memphis Police Department said multiple cars drove onto the lot of IMC on East Holmes Road after 1 a.m. on Sunday. Several of those people then headed to the northeast corner of the parking lot and forced their way into the shipping containers. So it does also say they had to have known where the items were inside the cargo. Law enforcement expert said this was an employee obviously knew what was inside the container and directed these individuals at a particular time, particular location. So this is pretty much saying that Nike employees are like tipping off thieves, letting them know which containers contain the valuable cargo, which that makes sense. You also have another report, which was just days after that one happened, on July 30th, talking about police are searching for 9 people who stole $3,700 of Nike from DHL Supply. And as you see, they even got images of the people right here, which I ain't gonna lie, like based off these pictures right here, bro, ain't nobody catching people based off these blurry ass pictures right here, which this story says, police said the video surveillance shows 9 suspects entering the gated parking lot through the sewer and fenced area. According to investigators, they broke into 2 trailers and stole 18 cases of Nike shoes valued at $3,700, which you got the Crime Stoppers number right here. If you guys are on that Young Thug Gunna type of time, you guys see the number right here. But it even gets more interesting because these are just cases where, say, like employees may have like tipped off the thieves to let them know where the actual stolen cargo would be available at. But as far as a report, which happened like, I guess what, top of 2024, this is where the LAPD actually cracked down on a sneaker heist ring after uncovering a seller's alleged connection to a warehouse employee. So let me get these ads out the way. So just to make a long story short, the theft ring operated by employing warehouse workers to misdirect shipping cartons of immensely valuable sneakers and sports apparel. These intercepted the shoes along the supply chain during shipment. So this is basically like we're a criminal organization, right? Or as they call like theft ring. They're basically getting employed by Nike. So they're literally getting jobs at Nike and then misdirecting the packages to thieves, which they're going ahead and flipping them joints right here. So this is absolutely crazy, y'all. As we revisit this topic, you've got one, literal backdoor deals. This is how early pairs are hitting the streets. But when you talk about backdoor deals through retailers, they're usually getting the shoes, maybe like a month, 2 weeks in advance before they actually hit the streets. So if people are actually able to get these pairs like what feels like 3 months, almost like 6 months ahead, I think more so a lot of these back deals are happening due to theft in the distribution chain by Nike, as you guys see right here. You literally have people that are employed at Nike who are misdirecting these packages. So that's how you see a lot of these resellers getting pairs in bulk, having full size runs, which is absolutely crazy. Now, if you guys are wondering like why I revisited this topic, of course, we had to answer TJ 101's question right here. But on top of that, it also affects, consumers as well on top of everything. When you talk about these stolen pairs, of course, Nike is going to file insurance claims, which basically that's going to cause, insurance rates to rise up, of course, so that's not a good thing. And then on top of that, it also says that the companies will often pass the loss on to customers in the way of higher prices. As you guys seen, Nike has increased their prices, whether you want to say it's due to inflation or with the tariffs and everything like that. But on top of all of that, with a lot of these stolen property, a lot of these stolen sneakers, that's also a reason why Nike has to also increase their prices as well. So hopefully that brings some clarity, as far as these early pairs. It's actually a lot more darker than a lot of you guys would think. And as far as this recent release right here, Cavestone 4s, this is a sneaker which we've seen like literally hit the streets what feels like months in advance. You got them Fire Red 5s on the way as well. It feels like them joints have been out early as well. And it pretty much just boils down to the fact of those 3 different matters is how a lot of these pairs are hitting the streets early, which as you guys see it, a lot of these pairs are actually going for under retail ahead of the drop. So Nike, they're not feeling it. They're contacting law enforcement. They're working with the feds to crack down on this whole thing. So let me know what you guys think about this topic. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys smash the like button. Just tapping in with y'all here on this wonderful Sunday. Thought it would be an interesting topic, one that seems to be many people are actually passionate about this. So let me know, have you guys ever been finessed for any of these early sneakers like this person did, almost getting charged $785 for an early pair of Galaxy foams by somebody here on YouTube? Let me know what y'all think down below. And if you've been watching the content, you enjoy the videos, make sure you guys subscribe down below, man. Like, we're getting more views than subscribers, so let's turn that around, man. Y'all go ahead and support the channel. Make sure you guys sub up. And one last thing, I do also have a free Discord group, which is basically just a safe place for sneakerheads. I'm not charging y'all any type of entry fee, but let's go ahead and get that booming as well. Let's get that pumping. So yeah, I'll go ahead and leave a description with that down below as well. So JATV, until next time, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out, y'all. Love.